Alrighty, well, in this video, I'm going to show you and break down to you exactly how I made $5,000 in 24 hours by just sending automated emails. Here is our appointments, which is a 65% positive reply rate. You can see the payments that have come through on our recent Stripe account. There might be a million fucking things that gurus are telling you to do. This will fucking 20x the amount of appointments that you book. This only takes me like an hour to set up, and it's been completely automated ever since I hit publish. Now, you don't have to have lots of money to do this. You don't have to be even like good at marketing or anything like that to do this. But if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner, if you sell any kind of high ticket product online, all you need to do is watch this video in full and follow the steps. Now, let me tell you a little story here. A month ago, I was getting YouTube advice from a consultant, and I was told that I need to include dopamine hits like every 30 seconds if I want to get lots of views. Well, unfortunately, this video has 0 dopamine hits because I'm not making this for the masses. See, 97% of people have complete fucking monkey brains with the attention span of a fucking goldfish, and I don't want you motherfuckers watching my videos, okay? Because if you need dopamine every 30 seconds to watch something that could potentially change your life, you're fucked. If you can't watch this, there's no point of you even trying to start your company. Sell your company to me, although I'm probably not even going to want it. Because to do this, it does require consistency. It's not going to be easy, but it is replicable. And the reason why it's replicable is because it's a system, a step-by-step that you can repeat over and over again. And if you're wondering why I'm going to pull back the curtains and reveal the exact email process my $200,000 a month agency uses to sign clients and service our own clients, because I have something to sell you. I'm just not going to sell you yet. See, if you don't know me, my name's Dylan Wilson. I've been running agencies for 6 years, and I've scaled 3 agencies to multi-six figures, a coaching program to $100,000 a month. And recently I shut everything down and scaled a brand new agency to over $200,000 a month in 5 months. And I've helped hundreds of other people start and scale their agency in the process. And while doing this, I document and I give away everything that you would ever need to make your first $1 million online on YouTube, and in my free 12 months to $1 million agency challenge. If you want to join that, you can click the link below, because my selfish desire is that you get to use my free content to start, and then eventually one day you reach out to me for a partnership and or hire my agency to get clients for you. Now, I have some of the biggest people in the space trying to copy me. I'm not going to mention any names, but I literally have texts on my phones that I was showing people on my team earlier who are asking them to pay me to teach what I do, or they're saying, hey, Dylan, let's jump on a networking call. And then they're only just coming on that call to ask me for help. And then they're ripping off my systems and offers to use for themselves to teach their suits, which is all fine to me. It does show the impact that my content has on the market, and allows me to sleep just fine at night knowing that you guys sit around mentally masturbating yourselves to people that are one step behind me. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm first going to actually show you the proof that I've actually done what I've done. I'll show you our Go High Level account. I'll show you my Stripe account, all that bullshit, so you know I'm not just another one of these fuckers here online. Then I'm going to walk you through this 60-minute one-time tech setup. Then I'm going to break down how to find the sub-niche of people in your niche that actually want to be sold to. Then I'm going to show you how to create an actual irresistible offer. And I'm going to give you guys a quick hint. It's not $100 million offers formula. That's been oversaturated. And then I'm going to show you how to write copy that literally forces people to respond. And lastly, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to reveal the 5 bonus tips that we are using that are literally 20xing the results from our email campaigns. Alrighty, so we'll get this out of the way real quick. You can see the payments that have come through on our recent Stripe account. You can check the date here to see kind of the actual results that we're able to get from this. Here is our appointment. So I'm going to go over to the outbound that we're getting from our outbound campaigns. You can see all these appointments that are being set here. I'll keep doing this. You can also check the dates to see how many we're getting per day. We're getting about 5 to 10 per day, depending on our sending volume and whatnot. And last thing I'll show you here is our actual Smart Lead Tweet Scraper account. So in this campaign here, we've contacted 906 leads, 108 unique replies, and 71 positive replies, which is a 65% positive reply rate. Okay, so that is the actual proof in the pudding. Now let me get down to show you how we actually pulled this off. All right, so let's get into this. So phase number 1 is 60 minutes of nerdy tech shit. So there's 4 things you got to do here. Step number 1 is purchase domains off of Pork Bun. Yes, there's a million places you can buy domains. We've tried them all. We've burnt way too many fucking email accounts to even be proud of. And we found that Pork Bun, out of all the email accounts that we've done and the hundreds of thousands of emails that we've sent over the years, Pork Bun has the highest quality of emails. From there, you want to set up the inboxes, sign up for Smart Lead, and put emails into warm up. Now, what I've done, and this document will be linked in the description, is I've created SOPs that our fucking VA from the Philippines uses to set this up for us. And I'm going to link this down in the description so you can use it. I'm not going to go super in depth into this because this is very basic shit. And like I said, we pay somebody $5 an hour to do this for us. So it's very basic. That being said, when coming over to signing up for Smart Lead, yes, there's instantly, there's Smart Lead. There's a whole bunch of other ones. The reason that we use Smart Lead over all the other ones is because Smartlead has a bunch of API abilities, which when you get a little bit more advanced and you have a little bit more advanced automations and whatnot set up, really comes into handy. And then so once you purchase your domain, set up your inboxes, again, this can be linked, and I have an attached SOP here that our VA follows to set this up for us below. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to want to put emails in warm up. You can put emails in warm up for anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously, if you just start blasting cold emails without putting them into warm up, all your emails are going to go into spam, and you're going to waste your fucking time, waste your fucking money doing this, right? So take the 2 to 3 weeks to put them into warm up. It doesn't take any of your actual time. You just leave it, then you forget about it, kind of like you were supposed to do before you lost all your fucking money day trading Bitcoin, and then come back to it 3 weeks later. Okay. So that's the nerdy tech shit. It's 60 minutes. We have full SOPs, link in the description. You can do that. Again, our $5 an hour VA can do it. So can you. Now, phase number 2, how to find people that want to be sold to, right? And really what we're doing here is we're identifying our ideal customer profile and, more importantly, the buyer personas. Because here's the thing. There might be a million fucking things that gurus are telling you to do with cold email, but I can attest that there are only 2 things that you actually need to do if you want to print cash through a cold email campaign is, number 1, have a high quality list, and number 2 is have highly relevant copy. Okay, if you are speaking, if you have a high, like, think about it, the problems that you're struggling in a day-to-day life, right? Maybe your girlfriend just dumped you, right? If your girlfriend just dumped you and I sent you a cold email saying, hey, has your girlfriend just dumped you? I have 5 things that we could do in order to get you back into that relationship. You'd probably fucking respond to that email because it'd be a high quality list with highly, highly relevant copy, right? Now, obviously that's an extreme example to simplify this to make your monkey brain understand it. But let me break down how we do this at scale and in a business to business or business to consumer perspective. Well, there's 2 parts that are broken down here. Number 1 is the market research aspect, and number 2 is the buyer persona. Market research is more or less identifying like what type of companies you're trying to target. Buyer persona is the actual individual that you are speaking to inside of that company, right? So in order to do market research, what we use ChatGPT and Facebook groups here, right? Now, before we get into actually how we come up with all this, I'm going to hit you with the 3 main objectives that we have at this level. The first one is to identify pain points at a company level, identify the goals that these people have at a company level, and then number 3, identify who in the company is the most responsive and cater their pain points and goals to them, okay? So how we do this is 2-pronged approach. We use ChatGPT and we use Facebook groups. So the first thing that we do is simply just go into ChatGPT and we type in these prompts right here. What is the dream result for niche companies that want in regard to generating new revenue? Do they use specific keywords / lingo when speaking about the end result? And here's 3 more ChatGPT that you can literally screenshot or click below to get this exact link and just copy paste into ChatGPT. And what it'll do is it'll spit out a bunch of information that you can use in order to identify like who your ideal customer profile is. The second part with this is when you go onto Facebook groups, and I'll actually give you guys a live example of what this looks like. It's a little bit more complicated. If you come over onto Facebook, and what you do is you join groups. So one of the groups that I don't use Facebook because I think it's for old people, but one of the groups that I have gone through before in the past is a ClickFunnels. There's a ClickFunnels group somewhere. Here we go. So here's a ClickFunnels group. So let's say you're in some sort of niche that sells to people that would be using funnels or selling things online. Like there's a good chance that they're maybe in this group. Right now, what I would do is I would come over back to here and I would use these keywords. So I would search for these keywords: problem, struggling with, I want to, how do I? So if I come back to ClickFunnels and I go to search and I go, I'm struggling. Okay, now what it's going to do is it's going to populate every single post that was put in this group that has the keywords I'm struggling. And if you want to further search for this, you can retype in, you can hit Command F on your keyboard, type it again. I don't know why that's not popping up. Oh, because I put a dash there. Right, and now it'll highlight all the time where people are, all the times when people said that I'm struggling. So you can figure out what these people are struggling with in their niche. So Mike Ars here, nice name, is struggling to find 2 types of people, both in sales department, salespeople, especially closers, appointment setters. So this guy is struggling with sales. Now, what you want to do is you want to spend a little bit of time going through this. I'm struggling. I'm taking many courses, been in many, and you can figure out, like, you want to note down what these people are struggling with. And if you begin to notice patterns, if you begin to notice trends, if you begin to notice that people are struggling with the same problem over and over and over again, that's probably a highly relevant problem that people are having. And it's a good thing to note down to potentially be using when you are building your cold email outreach campaigns. Okay. The second thing with that is obviously also identifying the buyer persona. So you do this in two ways, right? Number one is through your chat GPT prompts, where it'll identify, like, should you be reaching out to the CEO? Should you be reaching out to the CMO? Should you be reaching out to the people that work at the company? Like, whoever it may be, like identifying like who the exact person is in this company that would be struggling with that problem, right? Because when you think of like a CEO, right? Well, what's on a CEO's top of mind? Maybe it's big picture company things, maybe it's on keeping his employees happy, maybe it's all these kind of things. But if you come to him and you'd be like, hey man, I'm going to get you more leads. Well, he might not even be thinking about getting more leads because his CMO every single day is worried about getting more leads for the company, right? So in that case, you'd want to be reaching out to the CMOs of the company, not the CEOs, right? And you do that again by using the ChatGPT prompts, and also in the Facebook groups, to figure out, like, when these people are saying I'm struggling with, what is their position in the company, right? And if you notice trends that it is the CEO, it is the CEO, or it is some other position of the company, that's probably going to be the person that you're going to want to reach out to, or you're going to want to build your list around, right? So this leads me into phase 2.1, which is how do we actually find these people that want to be sold to, right? So we want to identify where the ICP and buyer persona hangs out. Now there's three simple rule of thumbs. Obviously, this isn't a hard, fast rule of thumb, but generally speaking, this is where we start when we're working with one of our clients, when we're setting this up for one of our clients, or when we're doing with the sales. Number one is, if it's a local business, Google Maps, right? And there's a lot of good Google Map scrapers, such as this one. This is the one that we use right here. It's just Gmaps extractor, where you can go into Google Maps and you can either do it yourself or get a VA to do it for you, create a simple SOP to create it, and scrape all the contact information from local gyms, local restaurants, whoever is in your target niche. If it's a corporate fuck, right? If you're in a corporate niche and you're dealing with some stuck up corporate fucks, well, in a lot of cases, the database softwares are going to be your best bet. Those softwares that automatically scrape platforms such as LinkedIn and similar, corporate profiles and whatnot. You can use Apollo, D7 Lead Finder. There's a whole bunch of them. Just do a little bit of research, like take fucking 10 minutes to figure out which one's the best one. There's no real hard, fast rule of thumb. At the end of the day, a lot of them use all the same databases. So maybe just look for the one that's the best deal for your company, or things like that. Last thing that you can do is, if you're a little bit more of an elite level, my roommate who runs a $250,000 a month agency, what he actually did is he found one that was actually like really, really good. He was getting a bit of leads from that, but it was a little bit more expensive than he was like. So what he did is he actually reached out directly to the company and offered to buy their entire database, and literally bought like 100,000 leads overnight for much cheaper per lead. Now, it was obviously a $4,000 or $5,000 investment, but that has yielded hundreds of thousands of dollars in MRR for him over time. And the last thing here is the average Joe. And this is a little unknown trick that not many people are doing, right? And in this case, you can use social scrapers to scrape leads. So what we do, and this is actually what we do a lot, is we'll go on to, let's say, Twitter or Instagram or, Facebook, and we'll find, and we'll search up accounts that our target market follows. So maybe it's my account, maybe it's competitor's account, maybe it's other agency related, coaching related accounts and whatnot. And we'll use social scrapers such as Tweet Scraper here to scrape all the contact information from the profiles that follow those accounts, right? And that's a very good way that we're able to actually really just create lists at scale from our ideal target audience, right? So these are three general fast rule of thumbs. If it's a local business, use Google Maps. If it's a corporate fuck, use database softwares. And if it's an average Joe, I'm really bullish on the social scrapers. It's the one that we use. And the last thing here is, once you have the list, in order to make sure that you don't just get fucked by email deliverability and your account toasted, you want to scrape and verify the leads. So definitely want to verify the leads. We use Million Verifier, which is just a simple way it kicks out all the bad emails, so you're only sending to the verified and good emails. Okay. Phase number 3. How do we create an offer that people can't say no to? And as I said earlier, this is not just following $100 million offers. $100 million offers has been a game-changing piece of information that has been released into the marketing world. It's changed, a lot of the way that I've done things. I've made a lot of money following the principles in the $100 million offers. The only problem with it is it's kind of saturated the market, right? So we, maybe take a little bit of insight from the $100 million offer formula, but we definitely don't just hard, fast rule of thumb here. So I'm going to pull up the internal doc that we use for our companies and our clients that we're doing this for, in order to actually build offers. So the first one is step number one is who are you targeting? And again, this was covered a lot in the ICP, how to find people that want to be sold to market. So we'll skip through that for now. Now, step number two is creating the outcome of your offer. So the whole reason that someone buys in your offer is because the outcome they receive to it. If they want to bridge the gap between point A and point B. However, the outcome of your service is not always the prospect's desired situation, although you may market it that way. Your outcome should be focused on solving one or more problems that contribute to the overall desired outcome. For example, we'll bring you 3 new clients per month. We'll add 10K per month in new revenue. We'll bring you 10K new YouTube subscribers. However, these are just things you deliver, not necessarily what your niche actually wants. So let's break down how you can turn the things that you deliver into an outcome of your offer. Again, whenever we do this for clients, we ask the following prospects. What is the big claim you can make to your prospects? How can you make this claim numbers based? Where will someone be after you solve their problem? Like they're in this space, how will their life be after this problem has been solved? Why is it important that they actually achieve this outcome? And how does this outcome move them closer to their desired situation? And if you don't know these answers, again, you come back up to here and you just spend more time in phase number two, where you can find people that actually want to be sold to and spend more time on ChatGPT, spend more time doing Facebook groups, just digging until you can clearly identify these answers. Now, the other thing that I'll say is as you begin to take sales calls, as you begin to set appointments, over time, it will begin to change. Like over time, it will begin to, this will morph. This is a work in progress over time. Okay. So you'll notice that when you answer these questions, that things will overlap, especially if the outcome of your service is the prospect's desired outcome and that is expected. This points out the most important things for you to focus on in your offer. Let's look at our example again. They might say, hey, we ensure software companies never have to worry about where the next customer is going to come from by predictably bringing 50 new customers per month. You want to be very clear with what it is that you are offering and what situation the prospect will be in after working with you. So what is the tangible outcome of your offer? You can put your answer in here to begin creating your offer. Now, step number 3 is creating a method. Now, at first, this step might seem a little bit fucking useless, but it's going to be the key in step number 4, which is all about creating your unique mechanism. You're going to list out everything you need to do for a client in order to get results. If you're running done with you service, then you'll also need a list of things that your client will need to do in order to get those same results. The idea of this stage is to understand exactly how you're able to deliver the results for your clients so you can easily explain it to your prospects. This is how we structure lists for our clients. What are the main steps that you take to get your clients results? How do each of these steps contribute to your client actually getting results? What are the most important and least important steps to getting these results? And can the least important steps be removed while achieving the end result? One of the best pieces of advice that I received recently from a consultant that we've actually hired to help optimize these email campaigns for us was that in order to create, a really, really good service, in order to create a really, really good offer, you first want to just focus on how you can create as much value in the marketplace. Like just focus on the most crazy, most valuable thing that you could possibly do and execute on that, and then worry about automating it. Right? Like sometimes people come in there like, oh, what's going to take the least amount of work? Oh, what's going to take, what's the most automated, most efficient thing that I can do? But that's a wrong way of looking at things. It's much more powerful to first start with like the deep end. First go head first into the deep end to figure out like what's the craziest thing that you could do for people, and then figure out how to automate it after. Okay, so once you've answered these questions, you want to take the list and recreate it in the simplest way possible using language a 5-year-old can understand and only include the most important steps of the process. For example, you want to create a target audience, craft ad creatives, launch campaigns, close deals, and then begin to scale. Now, we also like to take this a step further by creating a unique name for our service to package everything together. So if you were offering, let's say, influencer marketing, you could call your service a 3-step ambassador program. Now, even though you're offering the same as many other people, it sounds unique because you gave it a unique name. This is one of the most important things that I learned from Dan Kennedy, who's like the GOAT of direct response marketing. If you don't know who he is, I highly recommend that you literally just buy all his books and read it. You'll be 10 times better at marketing by the time you're done. One of the things that he's like ingrained into my mind is that new is always better than better is. Right. So what that means is if you go to people and present a new opportunity, something that they've never tried before, something that they've never heard of before, you're going to get a lot more responses. You're going to get a lot more results. You're going to get a lot more sales. You're going to get a lot more leads than if you go to somebody and are like, hey, let me just do something better than you're currently doing. Right. Like if somebody's let's say in the fitness space, and they're trying to get six-pack abs and they've been doing sit-ups every day, well, it's going to be a lot more powerful. They're going to be a lot more interested if you go to them and say, hey, let me show you how you can get a six-pack abs in 6 weeks without doing sit-ups by doing this new, crazy, unique exercise. Is going to have a lot more of a positive, like, that person's going to be a lot more interested in something like that, as opposed to, hey, let me show you a better way of doing sit-ups so you can get six-pack abs. See what I mean by that? Now, last thing here is you list out your answer, that everything you need to do for clients in order to get clients, and relist it in simple terms. And the step number 4 here is enhancing your methodology. So in this stage, you're going to list out every reason why someone would choose to work with you over one of your competitors. Other than offering a no-brainer guarantee, this is the best method to stand out from the crowd. For a prospect to pull the trigger and buy your stuff, they need to have an immense amount of confidence in your ability to achieve results. And we do this by removing any possible obstacles or friction that could create any doubt in their mind about your service. Now, the idea is to predict any objections that they could have to your solution and reverse engineer them to come up with a solution. This way, theoretically, they would have no reason to not believe what you are capable of. This is our step-by-step process that we use in order to achieve this. Step number 1 is we list every objection or concern someone might have with each step of the list that you created in step number 3. Number 2 is create a solution for each of these problems. And then number 3 is simplify the solution so anyone can understand it. So for example, here, an object could be, it takes too much time to create new ad creatives. And the solution could be, we do all the ideation and script writing for creatives, so you just have to record them. Important note, do not try to solve any problems that you are not capable of solving. Otherwise, you will land yourself in a bad situation later down the line when you can't deliver on your promise and you get fucked by your client, okay? Now, simply put, here we've made this workbook so you can follow, is put in your step-by-step process that you can follow here so you can overcome those objections down the line. Now, step number 5 is setting a time frame, because at the end of the day, people like to get things fast, and fast is better than free, right? So the faster that you're able to deliver a result, the more valuable your offer seems to a prospect, and therefore the more likely that they are to buy. However, at this stage, a lot of marketers like to stick to the generic 90 or 180 days. But all this does is blend you in with everybody else. And could make your offer less valuable than it actually is. So we follow this method to figure out exactly how long it takes to deliver results without being unrealistic. Question number 1, how long does it realistically take to bring you the results that you were promising to your client? Why does it take this amount of time to deliver the results? How could you reduce the time it takes to see an outcome? As with every other step in creating your offer, it's essential that you take your time to really think about these questions. You don't want to accidentally devalue your offer by saying it will take much longer to see results than it actually would, but you also don't want to overpromise on something you can't deliver. The word realistic keeps getting brought up, and for good reason. If you promise to deliver a result in 14 days, but you know 99% of cases it's going to take 45 days, use the second one. You always want to underpromise and overdeliver, not the other way around. Okay, and here's a simple place where you can put in your answers to step number 5. And step number 6 is creating a risk reversal. So the easiest way to instantly make your offer 10x more valuable is by removing all the risk from the prospect and putting it on yourself. In short, you need to provide a guarantee. Yes, it can be scary offering a guarantee, but realistically, if you don't get the client's results that you promised, you'd refund them anyway. If you care about your reputation, so you're probably offering one without even saying so. The idea of a guarantee is that the prospect feels like they're going to be in the same or better position than they are now, meaning that if everything went totally wrong, if shit hit the fan, you've completely fucked up, and you weren't able to deliver the promised results, you wouldn't lose anything. They wouldn't lose anything other than time. Now, unless you have a ridiculous amount of social proof and are regarded as the top player in the space, you're probably going to benefit from having a guarantee. And if you aren't comfortable providing a guarantee, chances are that you need to create a stronger product that gives you enough confidence that it can deliver results. Now, there are loads of different types of guarantees that you can choose from, and the one that you choose will be down to the specific service you want to provide, how much work you do versus what the client does, etc. But here are some of the most common ones: 100% money back, continue working for free after X amount of time, pay on performance only, partial refund based on performance, you pay them if they don't achieve the claim, or a combination of multiple of these. Your guarantee has to be as simple as possible and obviously in plain English. So for example, we'll give you all your money back if you don't get at least 500 new customers in 6 months. However, if you are still weary about including a guarantee, you aren't alone. We hear this all the time from clients. So this is how we break it down. If you end up having to refund twice the number of clients that you did before because you didn't deliver the promised result, but you were able to sign 4x in the first place because of the guarantee, then it was worth your time creating one, as you're still making double the amount of revenue that you had than before your guarantee. Now, step number 7 is to create a best and worst case scenario. Now, we're going to create an emphasis around your guarantee so the prospect literally has no reason not to give you a go. We do this by creating a comparison between the best and worst case scenarios a prospect could experience by working with you. The idea is that no matter what the outcome of working with you is, they will be in a bit better position than they were before. Now, best case scenario, well, what is the prospect going to get out of working with you if everything goes to plan? For example, best case scenario, you add an extra 100 customers per month to your platform and reduce your churn rate by at least 50% without having to put in any extra effort or hire any new team members. Worst case scenario, you want to state like what benefits will the prospect receive even if everything goes totally wrong with your service. For example, worst case scenario, you walk away with all our internal systems for predictably running paid ads campaigns that can bring 50 to 100 new customers per month on autopilot, along with having a new ICP landing page and creatives that your team can implement. This comparison can be really useful in sales calls or even as an angle in your marketing to get prospects to book a call. Step number 8 is to position your offer. So we're almost finished here, but before we can put our final offer together, we need to create a strong positioning for our service so it stands out from all other companies offering the exact same thing. The idea is to position your service in a way that describes the outcome the prospect will receive if they choose to work with you. There's a variety of different ways that you can do this, such as using metaphors and similes, but you really just want to describe the situation the prospect will be in at the end. Almost every service now has some kind of negative connotation associated with it, meaning that if you position your offer as a service, prospects will kind of be turned away instantly. Take Facebook ads, for example. So many companies shy away from using agencies because they're used to having their fucking money wasted with them. An average agency struggling to stand out could use, we run Facebook ad campaigns for e-com businesses. Instead, you can position it as, we'll help you scale to over 10,000 customers with each one costing less than a bottle of water. Notice the difference? The second one is so much more appealing as it says exactly what the prospect will receive, calls out their pain points, and doesn't mention how you do it. Okay, so I want you to write the positioning that you have for your offer here. So now that you've gotten all the pieces to the puzzle, you can finally craft your finished offer. There's a specific formula that we use to create all of our offers, which we'll go over in a minute, but there's something important that we should cover first. People buy into offers because it is going to take them from point A to point B. When you create your offer, you need to position it as a transformation, as that is exactly what people are looking for. If you just state your service along with a random number a guru told you online was good, you're not going to make it. You need to use a combination of all these steps in this guide to ensure that you create the best possible offer that resonates so well with the market and achieves the transformation your prospects are looking for. So let's take a look at the formula we use. We help target audience achieve outcome in time frame using our mechanism guarantee. Now, this is just a formula. So what would it look like in practice? Well, here's an example. We help enterprise software companies stuck at 20K per month add an extra 100 paying customers in 28 days using our 3-tier customer acquisition program. Best part is you only pay when you see results. Now, this offer is great because it calls out a specific segment of a market, targets a specific pain point the market has, states how soon they will see the results, and removes all risk from them. You'll notice how that there are certain components that weren't used, such as best/worst case scenario. This is simply because it would be way too much information to squeeze into a short offer, but you are more than welcome to change up our formula to make it your own so you can include the things that we missed out. Now, the other components are also really good for supporting your offer in a situation like a sales call where you have to convince the prospects that your offer is better than any other one that they have heard. For example, you could use the best/worst case scenario as an objection handling technique when someone is concerned about what happens if everything goes wrong. Done, right? So the key to building a successful client acquisition system is crafting an offer so good that the prospect feels stupid saying no to it. If you followed each step, you should now have an offer that will help us supercharge your campaigns to a whole new level. Alrighty, so that's it, right? The key to a successful client acquisition system is crafting an offer. And the reason I spent so much time and went so deep into this is because this is the most important thing. It's the biggest lever to pull in this entire process. Now that you've created your offer, well, step number 4, is how do we write copy that like literally almost forces people to respond. So I've created a Word doc for you guys. Let's pull it up and let's go through it here. So as we just said, the offer does 90% of the heavy lifting. Now, notes on a good cold email. Number one, it's going to be outcome focused. There's going to be social proof. There's going to show a unique mechanism. We're going to have risk reversal in there, and we're not going to use too many metrics. So in short, provide a dream outcome and guarantee it happens. With that dream outcome, follow it with an explanation of a mechanism. I can get you 20 clients. People will be thinking about how much more work that is for them. Come up with a solution while they're thinking of it. First line. We want to qualify people on the first line and mention the pain point. So a lot of people will say, hey, personalized first lane, we can help you with XYZ. But if you call out the pain point and people don't resonate with that pain point, they probably aren't qualified, which again is why we spent so much time going into the ICP and figuring out like who it is that we're actually trying to sell to, where they are in the company, and what are their unique problems that they're having. Okay. Beyond that, so some examples of ones that do perform is, for example, I was searching for top marketing agencies in location and company name came up. Are you still relying on referrals to grow your agency? And you want to A, B, C, D test these pain points. You want to set up multiple cold email campaigns so you can actually figure out like which one is resonating with people the most. Okay. Now, the second thing here is the highest points of leverage. So the highest leverage we can have is using extremely specific language, highly relevant language when we're describing our dream outcome for the specific segments of people that we're targeting, right? So instead of saying we can get you leads or we can get you appointments or we can get you clients, we can help you sign 10 new mortgage brokers. We can help you sign 10 new realtors. We can help you sign 10 new contractors. Backing this up with a case study that resonates with this segment of people is also a huge lever to pull in your cold outreach process. Now, sales assets, a lot of time when people ask us about this, so most of the time, sales assets just delay the process. The good ones automatically make someone want to buy those. So for example, showing somebody all the processes that we would use along with the average metrics, and when we compare that to what they're currently getting, ours being infinitely better would be a really good way of doing that, right? So instead of creating like some generic VSL that nobody cares about, nobody watches or anything like that, showing things like, hey, like this is what we're doing, maybe going through client accounts. If you can do that, like here's our average KPIs, maybe showing spreadsheets, things like that. And so they can just compare that to what they're doing. So here's an example of some good copy. Hey, first name, struggling with high CPAs, reaching out. Since we recently helped Exceed Me, a gaming platform in your industry, drop their CPAs in less than a month using our leverage acquisition system. We're confident company name would do the same. In fact, if you don't hit your goals in the first 30 days, you don't pay a thing. Mind if I share how it works? Awesome. So here's the email structure that we've been using. So first one is a relevant opener. Use highly relevant language based on the specific list to explain why you're reaching out in as few words as possible. So an example was doing industry research and found you on Jobber, saw you reply to a thread on X from Hermosi, right? Something like super relevant. And it's like actually like, oh shit, like I am on Jobber. Oh shit, like I actually remember replying to that thread from Hermosi. Then we want to lead with a pain question, a question about a pain that is specific to the buyer persona that we would likely be facing. So remember how we talked about earlier, the CEO has different problems than the CMO, has different problems than every other person in the company. So once we've identified who in the company that we're speaking to, hit them with a problem that they would be struggling as that person in their position in the company. So an example may be struggling with high CPAs, struggling with get leads to show up to demos, struggling to collect cash on sales calls. Then we want to introduce the offer. So we don't want to say leads, appointments, or clients. We want to use the industry-specific language. You want to state the dream outcome without pain. I can X without Y if possible. Do so in case study format. This is only going to make it more powerful. So an example is we recently helped case study increase their show-up rate from 34% to 92% using our AI smart appointment setting CRM without them having to do anything. Another example is if you don't have the case study, a remake of that exact script here is you won't have to do anything here, but I can help you increase your show-up rate by 300% using a company name, whatever your company name would, using company name, an AI smart appointment setting bot. Call to action, you want to keep it soft. Mind if I share more info? Doesn't need to be more overcomplicated like that. And use the PS line to add social proof and or a guarantee. So an example of this, PS, if I don't, you don't pay a thing. PS, you'd be the 423rd company we've helped to increase their show-up rates by, I think I was going to put 300 to 500% there. Okay. All right. So that is how we write copy that almost forces people to respond. Now, phase number 5 is the KPIs that we track and when to scale. So we always look at KPIs on a 7-day windows. With cold email and with any form of acquisition, it's going to vary on a day-to-day basis. So not tracking it daily, but tracking over a 7-day time period is much better, except for, the actual meeting book. And the only reason we do that is because we only actually send emails from Monday to Friday. Now, the key KPIs that we like to track is, first of all, an 80% open rate. And these are the numbers that we have from the cold email stand-up that I did with my cold outbound guy this morning. The 7-day reply rate, so I was sitting at 11%, 7-day positive reply rate, aiming for more than 50%, 7-day meeting book rate, aiming for more than 4%, and a 5-day meetings booked, how many 5-day meetings booked per day, how many we were going for on a daily basis. So that was a little bit down. The reason why that was a little bit down is because our new contacts per day actually dropped to like 20 or 30 a day because we had to basically fire a VA and get a new VA in place. Crazy thing happened. We're past that, right? That's just all part of business. Now, that being said, these are all the KPIs that you should keep count of. These are all the KPIs that you should track, but there's only one KPI that actually matters. And it's your 7-day meeting book rate. Like what percentage of meetings are getting booked in, right? If this is over 2%, scale the fuck out of your cold email campaign, right? Start sending hundreds of thousands of emails, as many as you can, buy as many domains, email accounts, warm up as many inboxes as you possibly can. If it's below 2%, then you're probably going to want to begin to optimize these metrics above that in order to get that up to 2%. What the fuck is that? Okay. So phase number 6 here This is the bonus, the secret 20% that leads to 80% of your results. So if you made it this far, you've completed 80% of the work that will lead to 20% of the results. Now, that's the bad news. But the good news is that this is the 20% that will lead to 80% of your results. And I'm dead fucking serious with this. Like if you do the 4 things that I lay out here, you can literally 20x the amount of appointments that you're able to book and money that you're able to make as a result of your cold emails. So the first one is don't send more than 1 email per every 20 minutes. If you send more than that, your account will get toasted, your deliverability will go to shit, and you won't actually, like, all your effort will go to wasted. Second thing is send emails between 8 to 4 p.m. for the exact same reason as the first one. Third thing here, leverage auto subsequences. So I believe I have this linked to ours. So what you can do here in Smart Lead is if you go to here, you can set up subsequences, which basically what this means is Smart Leads is AI to automatically figure out like what kind of response that these people got. And when they get those responses, it puts them into one of 4 different sequences to auto follow up with them, right? So if they ask for more info, we have a series of emails that goes out to them. If it's an out of office, we have a series of emails that goes out for them. If they ask for a meeting request, we have a series of emails that goes out for them, right? This is a very powerful way to quickly be on top of things and to automatically, and again, keeping with the theme of making this as automated as possible, increase the amount of appointments that you're getting. And then the last thing here is to have a less than 5-minute response time. And I'm dead fucking serious. Let me put this in bold and let me hit the fucking Command U, underline this shit too, because this will fucking 20x the amount of appointments that you book. And I'm dead fucking serious. If you respond to leads in a 5 minutes or less, they're going to be 20 times more likely. And every single time the amount of appointments that we're booking is down, it is directly correlated to the fact that we're not on top of our inbox as well as we should be. So if you don't have the time to sit around and wait for emails to come through and wait for responses to come through, I would strongly recommend go on to Upwork, go on to LinkedIn, go on to some job posting site and find an inbox manager that has the ability to be there every single day. Now, in order to actually make sure that they're on top of things, we use simple Slack notifications. So every single time we get an email reply, and that was again why we used a Smart Lead, because it has a lot of really good API and integrations and automations that you can set up with it. Every single time we get a response, it automatically pings to our Slack channel and tags our inbox manager so they can go in there within a 5-minute window and get back to people in due time. So there you have it. That was everything that we are doing to make about $5,000 every single 24 hours by sending automated emails that we spent, an hour setting this up. We spent a bit of time, figuring out who our ICP is. And then the whole thing has just been running on fucking autopilot with our inbox manager in there, setting appointments for us while we sleep. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate the time that you took. I hope you got 10x the value in comparison to the time that you invested watching this video. And my only ask for you is that let me help you, okay? For 100% free, you don't have to pay me $1. You don't have to pay me a thing. We have a free $0 to $1 million agency brotherhood where myself, my partner, and even the people that are actually like running these cold email campaigns for our own business will jump on a call twice a week to spend an hour of our time to answer any question that you have to help you scale your agency. So if that's of interest to you,